Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May the 21st, and it's been an incredibly active year for severe weather. In fact, we've had 920 tornadoes so far this season, and it's only May, right? That we're on pace for a record year with well over half of the year still left. And the last 5 days has been an incredibly active too. Now, unfortunately, it's going to start to wind down and start to settle down at least a little bit, compliments of several cold fronts that will actually be coming through over the next several days. So if we take a look at the overall water vapor imagery this morning and back behind where all the severe weather was over the last couple of days across the plains and much of the Tennessee Valley, now that's finally starting to clear out. Most of the precipitation is right along the southern tier and along the east coast. We are going to get a little bit of precipitation coming back through this afternoon, but it won't be that widespread. So if you take a look at the radar depiction this morning, most of the energy is well offshore right here, right along the coast around the I-10 corridor. They're likely getting some stronger thunderstorms further south into Louisiana, but there's also some precipitation and getting to be a chillier rain that's really going to start to unfold across much of Pennsylvania, back into DC, as well as into New York. So if we take a look at the overall severe weather front for this afternoon, it's these areas just right along the coastal regions where they could be seeing some stronger to severe thunderstorm activity unfold later on this afternoon into the early evening time frame, swinging into the Florida Panhandle as well as into Virginia and those areas across North Carolina. There's the piece of energy that's going to be starting to come back through the northwest flow. So we're going to start to go into more of a northwest flow, which is pretty common as we get towards the end of May and heading into June. So as we head into the afternoon, into the early evening time frame, there's a swath of energy. You could be getting some marginally induced thunderstorms across the plains again through Kansas, as well as into southern Missouri, getting into northern portions of Arkansas. And there's the colder air, right? I mean, further south, it's still hanging on, well above average temperature anomalies for a good part of the deep south. But to the north, it's almost chilly in a way, and in fact, it even gets colder as we head into your Memorial Weekend. But for right now, we've got those 10 to 15 degree below average temperature anomalies draped across the north into the Pacific Northwest, much of the north central plains, getting into the upper Midwest, and for those areas across New England and getting into the Northeast as well. But as we head into tomorrow, I do feel there is going to be another little cool front that's going to be sagging south. And as we heat up the atmosphere and turn the energy around and get the dew points back to elevated levels, and then we have a dry line, then we'll have the northwest flow. We're going to start to see numerous showers and thunderstorms start to bubble up right there along into the Red River and crossing into Northeast Texas, into North Texas, likely going into late tomorrow afternoon into the early evening time frame while they're working with the chilly rain up there across the Northeast. And as they do right now, we have a marginal risk for severe storms. This would likely be upgraded to at least a slight risk heading into Thursday, but it's mainly going to be right there within the southern Oklahoma region into across areas of the Red River. Will swing down into Dallas and clip parts of West Texas. We could be seeing those showers and thunderstorms to be producing some larger hail. If we zoomed in here, this is about 5-6 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, and yes, you can definitely see kind of scattered activity starting to bubble up in the heat of the afternoon with along that cool front and the northwest flow. Some of these could in fact actually have some larger hail with them and some gustier winds, and that will likely spread further south into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, getting down to the I-20 corridor and spreading across into portions of West Texas as well as into Northeast Texas and southern Oklahoma as late late afternoon Thursday into the evening time from Thursday. So if we expand the view and take a look at the big picture on the national front, there is the setup for Oklahoma and Texas. But further to the north, there's the showers and thunderstorms, more or less a chillier rain that will be spreading through areas of the Great Lakes and back through Pennsylvania and along the coast here into Vermont and New Hampshire and back into Massachusetts and Connecticut, as well as into Rhode Island. But look at the cooler temperatures, folks. By the time you wake up on Friday morning, we've got widespread 40s across much of Minnesota, into Iowa, back into Illinois, a good part of Michigan, all of Ohio here, and to Pennsylvania. You get up here into the Northeast and get up into the New England and some of the higher elevations, yes, we're talking into the 30s. So it's going to feel chilly while much of the South is still hanging on to the 50s, 60s, and 70s the deeper south you go. But going into that Friday time frame, we'll be looking at this northwest flow. That's what's going to start to come back. This is the vertical velocity index. This is the upward rising motion air starting to moisten up the atmosphere again across the plains. And we could be looking at another marginal setup unfold across that northwest flow that will swing down through Montana, to start getting its act together across the Rockies, and then blow up across the the northwest flow as they form northwest and they dive southeast. Likely going to see some showers and thunderstorms that trails along into Nebraska, as well as into Kansas, getting into Oklahoma, and back into portions of Missouri and Arkansas again on Friday. But there's the cooler air. It's really chilly for an extended period of time over a good part of the Northeast and New England. Much of the South will be looking at several cool fronts. So you have the cool front that comes through Thursday, and then it kind of backs up as a warm front on Friday. So by the time we head into Saturday, it's pretty warm again across the South, and we'll be watching another little piece of energy starting to unfold across areas of the Southwest, and that will be also moving across the Four Corners region as we get deeper into the day on Saturday and heading into Sunday, and tapping into yet another cold front, even a stronger cold front by then. So to the north, you've got temperatures a good 10 to 15 degrees below average. Of course, to the south, you've got the battle zone between Texas and much of the southeast. And with that cold front and with the continued northwest flow, we're likely going to produce widespread heavier rainfall potentially. This is the latest update from the Weather Prediction Center on going into Sunday. We could be looking at some numerous showers and thunderstorms break out along the head of that cool front back into St. Louis, Little Rock, as well as into Shreveport, into the Dallas-Fort Worth region, Tulsa, those areas across Springfield. Could be looking at some 1 to 3 inch totals, is not out of the question. And then further north, you're under that marginal risk, under that green marginal risk, would likely get up to about an inch of rainfall in some of these areas. That'll be on the day on Sunday. Look at the extreme amount of water vapor energy that's going to be coming in from the south. That's going to spread and tap into some of those higher dew points again. And along that cold front, that's where we're going to be seeing the heavier rain, the heaviest rain, likely across Missouri, Arkansas, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, those areas across northern Mississippi. And then lighter amounts as you swing further south, but still some good energy and about an inch of rainfall across southern Oklahoma as well as into Texas. So if you map it all out over the next 5 days, there's the heavy swath of rain, right? They've been getting hit one system after another. They've got more rain on the way. So at least a good 2 to 4 inches more precipitation coming for a good part of Missouri, Arkansas, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, back into Illinois, and then lighter amounts outside of there, but still 1 to possibly 2 inch totals. And then that chillier rain will unfold across much of Pennsylvania as well as into the Northeast, and they desperately actually need the rain, so this is a good thing for them. But noticed out west, that blank spot, there's not much going on, not much precipitation to talk about into the Pacific Northwest, much of California, Nevada, getting into the Four Corners region of Utah, Arizona, much of New Mexico's fighting those drier conditions, and where they really kind of need the rain, they're just not getting it, unfortunately. But everybody will be getting that cooler shot of air as it starts to filter down, and the strongest front will arrive on Monday, or actually Memorial Day, as much of at least the central and eastern 2/3 of the U.S. will actually feel on below average for a good part of your Memorial weekend, and that drops all the way down to the deep south as well. So those temperatures are going to be feeling really nice, and you'll finally start to feel some of those 10 to say 15 degrees below average anomalies, especially as we get into Memorial Day and heading into Tuesday of next week. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update while I protect you before and after the storm.